This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of another purge of the BS, sanctioned by the First Amendment. Frustration levels 0 to 100 have been authorized for use during this purge. All weapons are restricted. Government officials have not been granted immunity from the purge of the BS and shall undoubtedly receive the smoke. Commencing at the sound of the gong, any and all BS, especially unnecessary goofiness, will be purged without consequence. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be available, but they will be busy because they too will be watching the purge of the BS. Blessed be those who have already been victims of some BS. May God be with you all.
We can enter any home we want, and we will want. Because wanting is our will in this finite. Don't force us to hurt you. He's just like a purge.
Purple line stopping in early. Let's go. Albon and left. Oh.
Happy Purge.
You better find someplace else to go.
I got a wicked sweet tooth tonight. And I want my candy back.
Special shouts to No Reply, my man Al in the chat, Purple Goofy stopping in nice and early. Thank you for the mods, for making sure that we get this thing set off correctly. I need a number one in the chat if you can hear me well, so I can get into this thing. Because as usual, I got shit to do. I've been off for a couple of days, so I got to pack it all in, get it all in real quick. Pause, and I'm gonna leave you with that. Oh yeah, and a special shout to all my veterans. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans. 11/11, it is your day. So thank you for your service. So that brings me to an interesting question. Get the show started. I had this interesting little debate, not a debate, but just a question. Somebody maybe. Veterans Day. Veteran. Formerly just active. Somebody can help. I've always wondered that. We always say thank you for your in the military on Veterans Day. Technically, not really veterans yet. I don't know. Questions? I ask them. Y'all said in the chat. I did. This up. And how about now? No sound? Any sound? Are we getting any sound? I don't think we're getting any sound, if any. All right, so we're getting sound now. Are we getting sound now? Is everybody good on sound now? All right. Appreciate y'all. Appreciate y'all very much for that. So, until we come. Okay. All right, we're good to go. But I need an answer to the question, though, about Veterans Day. This is what I was asking. Is Veterans Day only for people who have discharged from the military, or does that count for people who are still actively serving? That was my question. If anybody can answer that for me. Look at us making friends in the chat over here, Purple Groovy. Hey, don't give out all your information, though. We don't know if the trolls are watching. They'll stop by and be like, yeah, I'm such and such. I'm from Purging The BS. I saw you. All right, so nobody has an answer for that for me as to whether or not Veterans Day is for active enlisted. Okay, it counts for active. Okay, I'm just making sure because I was asking my son that because I tell him Happy Veterans Day. He's actively enlisted. And I asked him about it. He said, you know what, Dad, I really don't know. I mean, everybody says it, but I just was wondering, is there another day for active people and one for just veterans, or it's just all the same thing? But I guess once you're in, you're in. So I guess it counts. But nonetheless, let's get into today's purge. I'm going to get it started nice and early. This first story just came to me yesterday, and I'm not really sure what it's about. I'm going to be honest with you. I just heard that somebody threw a sandwich at somebody else and ended up in court for it. So I don't know if it was because they were throwing their buns and meat at people. I don't know what happened. I just know someone threw a sandwich, and apparently it got them in trouble, and I just thought that we should at least purge that a little bit just to see what they talk about, if that will be okay with you. Okay. No Reply said there is no such thing as former military. Once you in, you in. When you pass away, you still get benefits. Yes, once you in, you in. You may not be actively enlisted to get pulled in for a war or get stationed somewhere, but once you in, you in. They'll call you if they need you. So let's get to this first purge over here. And if you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like and subscribe. Jump into the chat. Tell us where you see what we got here. Oh, that's the wrong thing. That's the problem. Try it again. In 3, 2, and 1. Bang. Let's try it again. It still didn't work. All right. So apparently Like I said, I don't know the depth of this story. So if it turns into something crazy, just please don't blame me for it. But that's the kind of stuff we get here sometimes. But apparently this guy was known as the sandwich assassin. So the sandwich assassin was throwing sandwiches. Apparently got locked up for it. So let's see what they're talking about.
Not guilty verdict in the case of the so-called D.C. sandwich guy. Sean Dunn had been accused of throwing a sandwich at a Border Patrol agent during the federal law enforcement surge here in Washington over the summer. The moment went viral, as you remember, but the officer wasn't hurt, and jurors now say the federal charges didn't even meet the moment. Dunn had this to say after the verdict.
Opened their hearts and homes to me. I am eternally grateful. And I am so happy that justice prevails in spite of everything happening. And that night, I believe that I was protecting the rights of immigrants.
With my sandwich.
Joining me now, Washington managing editor Catherine Falters, also our legal contributor, Shauna Lloyd. So, Catherine.
I'm going to pause it for one moment. These ladies look so serious. Like the way that they're dressed, the way that they're sitting there back straight. They are ready to have a serious conversation about a guy who threw a sandwich at a Border Patrol agent, had to face federal charges of assault for that. Let's let it go.
What more do we know?
Well, we know that Sean Dunn obviously was in court. The jury was deliberating through yesterday and into today, and they found him not guilty. Now, not guilty of course, causing any bodily harm to the officer, that agent who he threw the sandwich at. Now, we heard testimony from that agent, from that officer, just yesterday or the day before, where he took the stand describing the incident of the sandwich hitting him. He said the sandwich hit him and exploded on him, and that he felt the impact of the sandwich, but that it didn't hurt him. Now, we do know that throughout the course of jury deliberations, they did ask for the definition of bodily harm. What does that exactly mean? That's what the jury was considering here. Did that sandwich that hit the officer hurt?
Hold on a second. I'm sorry, but imagine if you got called in for jury duty, right? And you get picked as as a potential jury. And they tell you this is the story. They say, look, a gentleman hurled a Subway sandwich. Could have been a Jimmy John's. I don't know. And it apparently exploded. That was the terminology they used. It exploded on the Border Patrol agent. And they claimed that it caused bodily harm. Agent said it didn't hurt. It's probably soft. Probably wasn't even toasted. And so then you lock the guy up and you give him federal charges. This is a federal indictment. Like, he would have gone to jail for probably, I don't know, assault on a federal officer. That's got to carry about 5 to 10 years on it for a sandwich. Oh my gosh. And this guy just doesn't seem like he's a violent criminal. I think he just got frustrated. Maybe the sandwich wasn't that good, and he was in a situation where he was stressed out, and he just threw the sandwich. I've been there before. I'm not really big on wasting food. I'd have ate the sandwich. I'd have thrown the wrapper. I'd have been a wrapper throw. Been in there. He throw the wrapper at your chest, officer? Yeah, he threw the wrapper at my chest, and it was very violent the way he threw it. It bounced off, but it was violent. You should have seen the speed it carried.
They hurt the officer. We heard the officer's testimony. He said it didn't hurt him, so that obviously factored in to their decision here today. You saw him speak there afterwards, obviously in court. He said he's relieved and looked forward to moving on with his life.
I'm not going to lie. It's very hard to do this entire segment with a straight face. Shauna.
See, look, you hear? She said it's very hard to do this segment with a straight face. Okay, at least I know that these people are human. Because I was about to say, if they put this in front of me, I'd be like, you got to be kidding. Doug, you got to be kidding. This is what we're doing today? Nothing else going on? Sandwich guy. All right. Okay.
What do you make of the jury's decision here?
The jury's decision is legally sound because the charge we're talking about requires the officer to believe that they were in imminent harm or that the ability to harm him was there. And when we talk about this injury, when we look at a sandwich, he was able to see the sandwich. They're in close proximity. It's wrapped. Hitting at someone with a sandwich isn't causing an injury, nor could you believe that you were going to be injured. So the verdict is very consistent. And this is why we have a grand jury process, right? The grand jury even rejected charges.
So who charged them? Like, just the other officers that were there charged them? It seemed like the officer that got hit really didn't. He was like, pfft. You know, is that Dijon? You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't seem like he was bothered at all. So what was the point of getting federal people to deal with this? This seems
associated
seems
with this
wasteful.
because I think it just does not meet the criminal standard.
I don't know.
I have to agree with you on that. Shauna, Catherine, thank you both.
Look, they tried to hold it together. She broke character. The one in the middle broke character first. This was like a contest between the three of them to see who could hold it in the longest. And I would say the lady on the left with the strong upper brow, she held it the longest, but with a close second to Shauna here over under the chat on you guys. But this lady in the orange couldn't hold it. She immediately was like, yo, I'm sorry, I can't do it anymore. Look, watch where she breaks.
Agree with you on that. Shauna, Catherine, thank you both.
She was about to cry. She was about to cry. But anyway, that's got to be a tough job for some. Because you're supposed to take every story serious, like no matter what it is. I can't take this serious. I can't believe that they got a whole grand jury and did deliberation and testimony, had a whole judge, the whole thing for a sandwich that obviously didn't really hurt anybody. If anything, he could have got like a littering charge or something, and that would have been the end of it. No, they locked him up, gave him a court date, did the court date, found him not guilty, and then his story managed to make it all the way to the purge of the bullshit. So I'm going to go ahead and let that go. But come on, guys. We got to do better. Ridiculous. I'm not saying, look, no reply. I'm not saying they couldn't have found a charge to pin on this person and possibly give them a, but come on. A $5 foot long? That's your projectile? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not saying it was right. I'm just saying, come on. You know? All right, you get it. Y'all get it. I'm just saying, there's so many bigger fish that the federal courts should be dealing with. You know? You could be throwing a sub, or you could be on a boat getting blown up in the middle of the ocean. You know, all of this falls under the federal purveyor. So I'm just saying, they just could do so much more with their time. Okay, all right, let's move into the next purge. That's rough. A whole new. No reply. Said I agree. Like, what was the point of that? How much money did they lose on that court case? They had to pay the jurors. And you know what? Where I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna stop because that's crazy. Talk about waste, fraud, and abuse. I would have hated to be one of them jurors. I'd have been in there asking dumb questions like, well, was it a foot long or a shorty? Because there's a difference. Was it a 10-inch foot long or like an actual? Because there's weight differences in ounces. I'd have had some fun with that. They'd have paid me I'd have been in there for 4 days deliberating that. I'd have been the one dude at the 12 Angry Men. I'd have been the one guy that kept it going, ordering pizza and shit all day. I'd have got my money's worth out of that. But anyway, so this next situation apparently is not as humorous as the first. Looks like a guy at a McDonald's went off in the drive-thru. Let me double check here as to what's going on. But yeah, it says McDonald's worker pulls the McNugget on a customer. Okay, let's see what that's about. Sounds exciting. But in the interim, make sure that you hit that like button. Make sure that you hit the subscribe button. And make sure you come back to Purging the BS. And check out our merch on freemanservices.org shop, which you may see link in the description, well as coming across the screens and stuff. There's a lot of graphics. I know. Oh, Sebastian Polega, special shouts for stopping in. Yo, the Todd clip was funny though, right? I get in trouble for that. I'm gonna get in trouble for that one. I'm just saying. I got in trouble for saying something. We'll get into that later. I got another one I got to put up in Discord because they hit it. So, but anyway, so this next one, apparently, a McDonald's worker pulled his McNugget on somebody in the drive-thru. So now I don't know what was going on in that drive-thru, but I'm gonna tell you what, man. I'll tell you what, I used to work in a McDonald's many, many years ago. Wasn't recent. I was about 16 or so. And drive-through people are very rude. You can't really hear them that well when they're coming through, and sometimes they're talking to people in the car, and it gets confusing. You ask them for some follow-up questions and clarity, and they lose their freaking minds. Now, I'm not saying that I would be pulling a biscuit on them. I'm just saying when the biscuit got pulled, I can see why somebody's brain might arrive at that conclusion if they don't have all their marbles in the right place. So let's just see what happened here. Let's see what happened. Did they request catch up? Like, what happened? Before I make any judgment about this young man and his biscuit pulling and his McNugget garnishing or brandishing in the drive-thru. Let's see. Pass no judgment, people. Pass no judgment. All right? None. Shh. I hear y'all talking in the background. Don't pass no judgment on this boy. We don't know what them people said in that drive.
And now for a drive-through dust-up.
Police say 19-year-old McDonald's worker pulled a gun on a customer early Sunday morning. Local 10's Rosh Lowe joins us live with the exclusive video.
Well, talk about this guy. Police say he must have been fed up because you have someone who's working at a...
Did y'all get Rosh's joke? He must have been fed up. Did you get his joke? Because he was working all night on that joke. Okay?
McDonald's, cops say. And all of a sudden, he gets into an argument with people at the drive-thru, and the next thing you know, there's a gun? It was quite the pickup order at this Miami Gardens McDonald's.
Good morning, sir. You were arrested for aggravated assault with a firearm.
According to police, Anthony Elliott was working as a cashier at the McDonald's. The people who ordered the food say cops were waiting for a long time. All right, this is a strange one. According to cops, you had the alleged victims. They ordered online. They came up to pick up their food, and all of a sudden, they say that the cashier was giving them, quote, attitude. The next thing you know, well, according to cops, the suspect pulled a gun on them. What do you think about something like that?
I don't know. That sounds very weird.
Right? You go to McDonald's, you'll think you could get a side of fries, not a sidearm.
They disrespected Raj by giving him this story first. They sent his ass to the McDonald's parking lot. They said, Raj, we don't have any surveillance camera, so we're going to need you to go out to the damn McDonald's parking lot and ask people how they feel about the drive-thru worker pulling a gun on somebody. I'll be honest, I doubt anybody's going to say, yeah, that happens all the time, right? But in this one, you know, we'll let Raj do his little story. But they disrespected you on this one, Raj. I'm just saying.
Yeah, that's weird.
Right out of the arrest report, he approached the car and pulled the gun from his waistband and pointed it at them in the car. They described the handgun as a silver handgun with a black grip.
Why would people argue about food?
We don't know the answer for that. What we do know, say cops, a silver handgun at the Golden Arches.
No contact with these alleged victims, either directly, indirectly, in person, in writing, by telephone, or through third parties, and you must stay at least 500 feet away from the victims, their home and school, and place of employment at all times. Do you understand the stay-away order, sir?
Yes, ma'am.
This is a strange one. In the arrest report, it doesn't really go into detail what this argument was about. It just mentions that the patrons were waiting for a little bit of time, and the next thing you know, as I mentioned there in the story, the suspect allegedly comes out from the cashier and points a gun at them.
Okay. Well, we got all the information we're going to get from Raj today. And I will say this. Okay. All right. I'm going to say this. I know Miami Gardens might be a rough place, but if you have to go to work at McDonald's, if you have to go to any job, and you're not a security guard or a police officer or something like that, and you got to pack your little pistol because you don't know how it's going down at the workplace that day, then you should find a new job. I'm going to start with that. But we also saw that the judge let the man go on his own recognizance with a stay-away order for the people who he pulled the gun on, which he probably didn't even really know him like that. So that means the guy probably didn't have a lengthy criminal history of violence. I'm hoping. You know, I've heard some judges let people go for stuff that they shouldn't. But just based on the way it was handled, I feel like the guy might not be your worst enemy. I think maybe he was having a rough day at work. Somebody was talking trash to them about the last time they was at the McDonald's. The last time I was here, I told them not to put pickles on my Big Mac, and I got extra pickles on my Big Mac. Your ass better not put extra pickles on. And then he probably did that. And then according to this, they waited for a while. And if you've ever come to a McDonald's and had to wait for a while, it is frustrating because you're waiting that long for McDonald's. You know what I'm saying? It's almost like you're waiting to show up for pain. You're waiting to destroy your insides. So if I'm going to do this, and it took a decision for me to even come over here and come through this drive-thru and allow my body to have to endure what it's going to have to endure to digest this shit, you're going to make me wait on it? So yeah, I'll be a little upset. But I would have to say, I've never really heard of drive-through workers packing. So I think there may have been some underlying things going on, maybe at the location, maybe with that guy specifically. Maybe he was scared of somebody else. And, you know, all of a sudden he had a weapon, so he thought he was big and bad and just losing it, just crashing out on everybody. We don't fully know. What we do know is he is back on the streets. We do know that. Now, whether or not he still has that gun, I doubt he still has that gun, but obviously he can get one. And if he will crash out on people at his job and lose his high-paying McDonald's drive-through job over a dispute over waiting for food, this guy is a loose cannon, just walking around Miami with his cannon loose. So y'all be careful down there in Miami, just saying. Because this guy, they put him right back on the street. Like, they didn't even say his bail amount is this. Nope. She put him right back on the street with a restraining order about those specific people. Didn't even tell him he couldn't go back to McDonald's. I don't know if he's going to be able to keep his job. I doubt it. But he could go back. So, nonetheless, be on the lookout for McDonald's drive-through workers with weapons of ass destruction. No reply said they're going to catch their hands. See, that's the problem. See, Sebastian, that's the problem right there. Everybody thinks, like you just said, it doesn't take that long to make none of this stuff up in here. It's not always that. Sometimes you got a person on the grill or in the back that don't have it all. They don't have it all, and they have a tough time staying on top of things. And you get a staff that just doesn't, it's not a real cohesive team, if that makes sense. And things just end up behind. And then lo and behold, the damn ice cream machine stops working in the middle of something. Now we really got a problem. So, you know, I feel for McDonald's workers. I feel for anybody that has to endure being in McDonald's that long. And then you come out smelling like McDonald's. Anybody that knows that scent, it's a scent that the inside McDonald's has. It's a mixture of what's going on in the bathroom, what's happening on the grill, and what happens in the ball pit where the kids are. And it all mixes into this scent called McDonald's, okay? Once that mixes in, if you work there, it gets in your clothes, it gets in your hair. So those people go through a lot, okay? Shouts to Jay Coleman stopping in the chat as well. And shouts to all of y'all jumping in the chat. I know we had a couple days off. I've been sick, but I'm coming back. That applause is for y'all. Yeah. You. Oh, apparently I was out of the order of the... I was supposed to do... excuse me. Story about a guy refusing to pay child support. So I don't know if you can do that. I mean, you can refuse. You can do that all day, but whether or not they're going to allow that to continue, that's a whole different thing. So let's see what this is about. It says guy refuses to pay child support. And this could be simple or this could be complex. That part I don't know, but we're about to find out. All right. Sebastian said, don't get me started on that ice cream machine. Well, I'll tell you, McDonald's ice cream machine is like the most broke ice cream machine ever. And I heard that it's not always broke. I heard that there's like a maintenance thing they got to do. and that they just say it's broke and they got to do a maintenance thing. Something gets frozen in there. I don't know. I never, when I worked there at the 16-year-old time, I never touched the ice cream. And I was afraid of it because it looked like you could get caught in it and then you would be turned into soft serve. So I just didn't really like it. So I stayed over by the hot stuff, the fries, burgers. You know, and those are the things I wanted to eat anyway. So I would, yes, I had 10 chicken McNuggets in my pocket at any point in time during my shift. Yes, I did. All right, so nonetheless. All right, so this is apparently some guy refused to pay child support. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why he did this. I know nothing. I know that's what the caption says, and that's what the story is. So we'll see where this goes to. Now, this one came from Reddit, so you got to be careful with Reddit. Reddit does not follow the same stringent-ass rules that YouTube follows. So sometimes things can be said that won't be out on other. Catch it here on the live, because by the time it does the playback, they'll snatch it out. Let's see what we got. One transition now. Hold on. I hear it, but I didn't see it. Maybe next time. All right, so check this out.
You okay with that amount? I'm not paying that amount. Why not? I gotta live too. What do you think? Does money comes free? Like, what? I don't even have physical custody. Why do I have to pay that much? As much as if she has, give me physical custody and pay me $500 a month. Well, that's part of the reason why it's higher is because you don't have very many owners. Can we reschedule this? Can I get a lawyer? No, you can file an objection if you don't like the result of the hearing. Yeah, definitely. I would like to file an objection. Okay, the instructions on how to do that will be in the order. The amount can be deviated from if you can provide good cause or that it's inappropriate.
Did he call him bro? I hope the judge didn't just do that. Let's see what we got here. Hold on now.
You can provide good cause or that it's inappropriate or unjust. Did you have anything else you wanted to say other than you're not paying it? Yeah, that's just a crazy amount of money. Like, how do you expect me to pay rent and pay my car payment and pay for him when he comes, the hundreds of dollars I spend when he's with me because I have to go to because you guys only let me get him 48 days out of the year? Well, that's an agreement that the two of you made. That's not something you say that you guys only let me get him 48 days out of the year. That's an agreement you made. Well, then how can I split it where I get half the year? Don't interrupt me. Don't interrupt. You both came to court with that agreement hammered out. That's not something that was imposed on you by the court. All right. Well, then
I disagree with that statement. You know, a lot of times the court makes a ruling and they'll say you agreed to it, but it was not after, it was after the court said it. Like, not even, you don't agree to it. Like, you just, the court says this is what it is. And then when you sign that saying that you understand that that's what the court said, they call that an agreement. That's not really agreement, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? That's like the court came up with it. We had to do it, so we did it. But that's not agreement. Agreement is when the parents actually agree about something. And then they bring it to the court, and then the court has to listen to them, which is very rare these days. I heard before the parents used to be able to decide the child support amounts between themselves and bring it to the court as to, you know, what they thought the best amounts would be and the best visitation schedules. Courts don't even try and hear that shit no more. So I see what the guy's saying, but I hope he didn't think that he was going to win just by saying, nah, I'm not doing it. Like, that's all I'm saying. You don't win that way. You got to kind of fight that. Like the judge is saying, you got to, you know, put in an objection and follow the rules. But, you know, he knew before this hearing what the hearing was going to be about, or pretty much what he was looking at. I don't know. And he used the term kids with an S. And it sounds like he mentioned $500 a month. $500 a month for multiple kids that you get, what, 1 or 2 weekends a month out of the year. That's not the worst. I've heard a lot worse. Now, granted, if the guy's not working and you're charging him $500 a month, then that could be a problem. But I'm just saying that's not like an inordinate, NBA player paying $25,000 a month in child support. Like, that shit is crazy to me. What kind of milk is that baby drinking when they charge somebody $25,000 a month child support? That is not for the child. We are not going to play like that.
Came to court with that agreement hammered
let's
out.
let him finish.
It's not something that was imposed on you by the court.
All right. Well, then how do I get it? Well, then I want to file for full custody.
Well, you can file your own motions, but that's not why we're here today.
All right. Sounds good.
All right. At this point, I'll go with that amount then, $515 a month. That'd be effective.
If I don't pay it, what happens?
If you don't pay the amount that's ordered, the matter is usually set for, you'll get a notice in the mail that you're not paying and a request to contact the friend of the court. If it's not resolved that way, then a show cause will be filed. And a show cause, you can be held in contempt, ordered to make payments, a jail sentence.
I'll send It's just pay or stay, right? I'll send in jail for that. It's just pay or stay, right? I can send in jail for a couple hundred. That's cool. It was like 5 days.
Well, the money doesn't go away if you go to jail.
Oh, whatever. I'll sit there. I don't care. I'd rather sit in jail than pay that.
Wow. Okay. All right. So this guy said he'd rather sit in jail than pay $515 a month. He said, I'll just go sit down in the jail then. That's how y'all. Now, I don't really know. Maybe this guy's been to jail before, maybe not. I don't know. But jail's not a fun place. And if you're in jail, guess what else you're not going to see? You're not going to see your kids. And you claim you want full custody and you want to do all these things with the children. You can't do that if you're, protesting your child support by sitting in jail. Just saying. This guy can make his own choices, but I just think that his style of protest might be counterproductive to his end game. Just my thoughts, right? And he's saying too much in this hearing, but the good thing is it's an unofficial kind of hearing, but they could bring up the recording of this later and say, well, he said this, this, and that, but he really didn't say nothing detrimental. He just made some intentions known that you don't necessarily want to know in this thing. You just listen to the judge. The judge will say whatever. You file your objections. You file whatever motions. But telling the judge what you going to do, it doesn't change anything in this situation. So I think he should have just on that one. But nonetheless.
You still owe it, though. It's 90.
Whatever.
It'd be 45 days for a first offense, 90 for subsequent offense.
Oh, well.
Oh,
that's easy enough.
I
Get that on my head.
care.
Your credit will be affected. You could lose passports.
He said, bitch, I got a 400 credit score. That's what he's thinking. Sorry, I didn't mean to use the term bitch, but it just fit right there.
I don't have nothing anyways. I don't care. Does not bug me not one bit. I don't have nothing to take. Go ahead, whatever you want to do.
Driver's license?
Whatever, take it. I don't care. I'll drive without one. You guys don't understand. Look at my record. The law doesn't bug me not one bit. I do not care, not one bit.
Okay, he's that guy. I get it. So this guy has obviously been in the system at some point, probably still is, might be on probation. And so he ain't scared. He ain't never scared. This gentleman is never scared. He does not care. He's not paying that $515. You want that $515, you're going to have to take it out of his time and sit him in jail and make the rest of the taxpayers pay for him to not pay child support. Now, let me unpack this effectively. I get his mission and his plight. I do. Honorable in a way. He doesn't care what the court says. He feels a certain type of way, and he's already got to pay a lot of different monies outside of this child support amount. I get what he's saying. Okay, I do. It's just in this particular setting, you don't say all that. See what I'm saying? Like, even if he's thinking, hey, man, I'm not paying this shit. I don't care what they do. They can hit my credit. They can take my license, my passport, whatever. This guy feels like he has nothing to lose anyway. And one of the worst people to try to take something from is somebody that has nothing to lose because they don't care. They don't care what the judge is saying. This guy does not care. But guess what? The way that the legal system is set up, he's still going to be able to have visitation with his kids. The only problem is if he ends up in jail, there's no visitation there. And that's how your other parent ends up with full custody because you were in jail. So, sir, if you want to have a case later, going to jail is not the way to go. So I get his plight. It's a rough one. They be hitting people's pockets. This guy might not have a lot. You know, he couldn't even take time out of his day to take the call from somewhere outside of his car. You know, he might not even have Wi-Fi in the house. I don't know. What I'm saying is he's standing on it. So I respect the fact that he's standing on it, but I know the end result, they will just try to make his life a living hell, and he won't see his kids. You see what I'm saying? So you're going to lose on both sides there. That's the only problem with it. I do understand his plight, though. I get what you're saying, bro. I really do. But at the end of the day, I ain't going to lie. At the end of the day, you're going to have to just eat this for right now, navigate it to the best of your ability. That way you can be. Because if not, these courts don't care about the kids having access to their parent. And notice I said the kids having access to their parent, because a lot of people get it confused. They always say it's parental access. No, the child needs the parent far more than the parent needs the child. And a lot of people don't want to just admit that. The child needs the parent so that the parent can help them view the world and be raised. The parent is already grown. They need to see the child because they're emotionally connected to the child, but the child is not steering them in certain directions in their life. Now, yeah, they can be a motivator, like when you have kids and you're motivated to do certain things because you have kids. But I think you guys get the point. It's called child access to parent, not parent access to child. And a lot of people get that whole thing twisted, and that's why there's the beef between the parents about the access, when the access has nothing to do with the parents, has everything to do with the child. So if you're in one of those situations that I know all too well, a lot of times everybody's talking about they're doing this for the kid, but they're not even listening to what the kid is saying they want to. Kids say they want to hang out with their dad. You're telling the kid what a court order says. Screw what the court order says. We are grown-ass adults. All of this could be worked out. The court system makes money off of families that can't be reasonable when it comes to the raising of children. We make them rich this way. And then they put in whatever they find to be the guidelines, and you better follow it. Men, you better follow it, or you'll end up in jail. Women's a little bit different. If they decide not to let visitation occur and all, it's a very arduous process. But at the end of the day, if you want to see your kids, you got to play the game. Because if not, they'll make it so you don't ever see them. And that's obviously not what you care about your kids. Go ahead and move past that. Y'all having motherfucking therapy time in the chat over here. I see y'all. Continue. Have your conversation. This is the place for it. We're not judging each other. We all out here living our human experience, living the lived experience. And all of us have a different experience with life. But one thing we have in common is that shit ain't perfect. And we are all going to struggle. And sometimes the information I get from my struggle is going to help somebody else, whether it be information that they can use to navigate their own struggle or motivation for them to use because they're like, damn, if this person was able to make it through something, I should be able to make it through this other thing. So feel free, guys, in the chat here. When we purge the bullshit, because part of the bullshit is thinking that everything is just going to be negative or positive in life. It's a balance. So we balance it here. That's why we got some stories that are kind of funny, other stories that are a little more serious. So let's see what the next one is. This one sounds like it might be this might be in the middle. This might be in the middle, guys. All right. The caption says, Vegas man says he slept with stepmom for years before father's unaliving. All right, I'll say it again because y'all might have missed it. Vegas man says he slept with his stepmom, for years before his father, who was his stepmom's husband, was unalived. Okay, all right, let's see where this one's going to go. I feel like I'm going to get a sick story. If it wasn't for the fact that it said Vegas, I would have thought it was a Florida story, because we get our wildest stories from Florida. So let's see what we got, y'all. All right, guys. Strap in. That's all I'm gonna say. I don't even know if I want to push play on this. I feel like my stomach isn't strong enough for it. I feel like this is gonna go somewhere.
Good evening. Dramatic testimony from the husband of a woman accused of decapitating the father of her children. Thanks for joining us at 6. I'm Denise Valdez.
And I'm Brian Loftus. That man is also the murder victim's son. 8 News Now investigator David Charnes covering this case.
Oh, she was crazy.
Now day 2 of this murder trial.
And Brian, Denise, one day after Devin Michaels' attorney told the jury her husband, who is also essentially her stepson, killed and decapitated that victim, he told the jury he is not involved in this at all. Michael.
Oh, wait a minute. Her stepson, who is also essentially her husband. Wait a second. Is that even legal? I guess it is. Nasty. Nasty. You were married to the dad, now you're married to the son. That wasn't your son. It was somebody else's son that the dad had before the dad met you, and you move in with the dad and you peeking at the son? Son. Ugh. Where do they find these folks? This is the bullshit. We must purge it. These are the people. It's not just about deporting illegal people. We got to get rid of folks like this. This is debaucherous at the highest and lowest levels at the same time. I'm gonna let the story continue, but just Jesus. Come on, guys. Come on, get your people. Whoever's people this is, get your peoples. Seriously.
Killed and decapitated that victim, he told the jury he is not involved in this at all. Michaels is on trial for the 2023 murder of Jonathan Willett, the father of her 2 children. One of his children is Devier Willett, who told the jury he became sexually involved with Michaels when he was 19, and they later got married. Michaels also going by several other names, including Nikki Fairchild, which is her alias in the adult film industry. After Michaels' defense attorney tried to pin.
Anybody ever heard of Nikki Fairchild? I've never heard of Nikki Fairchild, so she must not be that big in the adult film space, but I wonder if she was just doing stepmom fetish video. Sounds like she would be pretty good at those.
In this murder on Devier Willett, the prosecutor flat out asked him under oath if he did it.
Did you kill your father?
No, sir.
Did you have any involvement in killing your father?
No, sir.
Did you have any involvement in what happened to his body after?
No, sir.
Devier Willett telling that jury that before his father's death, his father had actually recently just learned that he had married Michaels in those years before, and that he was getting kicked out of the house. Michaels' attorney tried to show the jury.
Wait a second. Wait. Okay. You mean to tell me that you lived in the house with your dad, and then you're going to break the news to dad that you're marrying the woman that he is no longer married to? Why don't you just move out first? Like I'm going to say this. I'm used to this being a Florida kind of story. I hate to say it. Sorry, Floridians. Love y'all. But this is like some Florida shit. And this is out in Vegas. So I guess Vegas is like the West Coast Florida. Just some weird. That's weird. You living in the house with your dad. This person was your stepmom. I'm sure it was probably fun at first because she wasn't ugly. I'll give him that. She was cute. But it was probably, he was young and I don't know, man. Like in this picture right here, let me show you. Like she's not ugly. She's a pretty woman. She's a little older than him, obviously. She's a stepmom. But maybe she was younger than the dad and closer to his age. That could happen too. Maybe. I don't know. Let's let the story finish. I'm just trying to figure out, like, how do you get all intertwined with all of that? Like, the world is much bigger than your stepmom. You don't have to sleep with stepmom while you're living in your daddy's house. What are you talking about? Anyway.
House. Michael's attorney tried to show the jury Willett resented his father, suggesting that the way he described the relationship to a grand jury and to police was all a lie.
And you've lied to him about the relationship that you have with your wife, and you've lied to him about the living arrangement where you're getting kicked out by your father, correct? He's moving you out.
Yes, sir, because I didn't know what exactly had happened.
Devier Willett telling the jury he didn't actually remember much from the time of his father's murder because he says he was drinking heavily, but that he resented Michaels after her arrest. He said he hasn't talked to her since and he wants a divorce. Now, he, of course, not facing any charges. This is her trial. Prosecutors say there was no cell phone or video evidence connecting Devier Willett to this case at all. Meantime, Henderson police testifying today about their investigation, including their search for Jonathan Willett's things, including his car keys and his wallet. They testified they actually found it in Devin Michaels' bedroom, and they say they searched far and wide for his head, but they never recovered that or the murder weapon.
All right. So, all right. Wow. This is a lot. This is a lot on this. I wasn't expecting this many things to unpack, but apparently the lady is on trial for decapitating this other guy's dad and apparently wants a divorce from her. I'm sure you would if somebody took out your dad. I feel like he's somewhat involved. I feel like you are not going to be, if you really respect your pops and all that kind of stuff, you're not going to be doing it to the stepmom. Like if you're that age, even if she's acting a little weird and doing too much around you, probably tell your dad, like, Pop, I think she's, the other day I went in, she was making pancakes butt naked. She knew I was here. I mean, you know, he didn't do that. So he was somewhat complicit. Then obviously he got to the point, she's doing some type of adult content. Now the shot of her in the mug shot, I don't think that many people would pursue her content. But in the picture, she did look good. She was an attractive young old lady. And she took her situation too far, and I would venture to say that she was probably doing step fetish porn movies with the dude. You know, he probably was either filming it or he was part of it and just like filming her or whatever. And they probably made a little money out of it because apparently that's some type of a weird ass fetish to people. So I don't know, but at this point, the guy shouldn't be able to just walk free. And I'm gonna tell you why. I just think it should be the wrongness around the situation. The guy just saying, look, I don't know what you're talking about. I had nothing to do with it. Nah, you still had something to do with it. Because you did it to your stepmom. You caused something. Something happened as a result of your actions. That's all I'm gonna say. You don't get to just walk away from that. And you married her. So it wasn't just a fling. You later married her. Then had the nerve to still be in your daddy house at the same time. What is wrong with these folks? This is a problem, guys. This is a problem, and this is why we need to purge the bullshit. She got to go, so she going to jail. That's cool. The son got to go because he's dumb. He got to get out of here. We don't need him anymore. Unfortunately, the dad is gone, and I believe there were some children. Yeah, I'm just saying, man. There is something going on here where things are not in everybody's head the same way. Like, to me, the situation sounds nasty, but obviously there's some people that have a fetish for it too. So if placed in that situation, they would do what the son did, which is marry the stepmom. So hold on a second now. The son had half siblings because this lady had 2 kids with the father of the stepson, right? The stepson was another mother's child. Okay, hold on. Let me rewind this. So then they have 2 kids. That means that those kids are half siblings of the stepson. And then the stepson marries the stepmom, making him the stepfather of his half sisters. Are you kidding me? And that's not as dysfunctional as it gets. That's a hell of a story to tell over Thanksgiving. My stepdad brother. Yo, that's crazy. That's crazy. All right, let's move to the next one. Anybody that's out there, you know what? I don't even want to give y'all a warning about this because I don't want any of y'all to think that I think that y'all are into some step-parent fetish shit. So just look out for the goofies out there. That's all I'm going to say. All right, Jesus. All right, what do we got? Cool. All right, we're making our way through, guys. We're making our way through. So our next story here. Apparently there was a man. So I guess the AI that helps me put the episodes together must have found that men were victims and put these stories together, because this one is about a man who was apparently kidnapped and trafficked. Now, I don't know what this means. I didn't know that there was a market for random peen on like, you know, I didn't know that there was a market for that. Like, I didn't know that they were trafficking dudes. Other than what Diddy did, but I don't really know if that was trafficking per se, or are we slicing hairs here? When I think of trafficking, I'm just telling you how I think. I'm thinking a bunch of people thrown into a crate and shipped somewhere, and then a bunch of guys with guns come and pick them up from the crate and take them immediately to a brothel or something, and they work there, and that's it. And they can't go nowhere because they don't know anybody. They don't have no paperwork, and that's just what they do. That's what I always picture when I think of trafficking, but there are some much tamer definitions now, so I could be wrong. So we'll see what this is about, okay? Let's see what we got. Y'all calm down. Y'all jumping in the back over there. Stop. So, URL. Oh, this is on YouTube? Okay, so it's probably tame. YouTube is like PG-13 at best so they normally don't let anything go up. Could be, you know what I'm saying? They're hard on us, and we don't say shit over here. I don't know what they talk about.
New tonight.
All right, let's bring this over. Let's see what we got. I'm gonna chat up. No reply. That's the thing. Sounds like we are promoting. We say there was a promotion. Stepson to stepdad. Can't say that was the change. Don't worry. They'll come back and find something. It doesn't matter how hard I try. It doesn't matter. They come back and find something in every episode. They're hitting me with episodes that I forgot I did. Stuff from a year ago, I'm getting emails about now. Hey, there's a problem with your content. It's promoting violence against persons who have different sexual preferences. What? Because they like to mess with babies? Okay. Anyway, it's not a sexual preference, and I am not standing for it. I don't care what nobody says. I know. That was a tangent. Let's bring it back. So, apparently, this man says some women kidnapped him, forced him into sexual work. Let's see what this means.
New tonight, a man says two women kidnapped him at gunpoint and forced him into sex work.
Court records backing up the victim's story, and he's sharing it only on 13. ABC 13's Luke Jones is live at the Harris County Jail detailing those 6 days of terror, Luke.
6 days.
Yeah, and what a terror it was. So far, the only charges are aggravated kidnapping, but this man says in reality, he was really the victim of sex trafficking. Masterminded, he says, by a woman who called herself Cookie, operating out of a North Harris County motel.
It was really ghetto. It was scary.
A young man who still shudders when he thinks about all he
Sounds
endured.
young.
For almost a week, he says he was held captive in a room at the Regency Inn on Cypher Station near FM 1960. Forced, he says, to have sex for money. We're blurring his face to protect his privacy.
It was a lot of crackheads, like a lot of them.
Hold up, he was forced to have sex with crackheads? I'm not ready. I'm not ready for this story. I am not ready for this story. I'm sorry. Oh my God. Okay, hold on, guys. Let me. I gotta keep it serious. See, I got the fucking tie on, man. Hold on. All right, he was kidnapped at gunpoint and forced to have sex with crackheads for 6 days. I'm not laughing. All right, hold on, back it up. This is how I get in trouble, because they think that I'm making light of it. I just wasn't ready. That's all it is. I feel horrible for this guy. Because you don't know, some crackheads are real dirty, And we don't know if he was being forced to do this, they must not have been the clean crackheads. They were the dirty ones. So he went through an arduous experience, and I feel for this guy. But I have never heard of anybody being kidnapped and forced to have sex with crackheads before. So it was a lot, and I wasn't ready, okay? Not laughing at you, gentlemen. Sir, if you ever see this video, I'm sorry. I was not laughing at you. I just was not ready for that as the punchline. I'm sorry. All right, let's bring it back. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? Everybody's ready. Okay. Whew. All right.
Captive in a room at the Regency Inn on Cypher Station near FM 1960. Forced, he says, to have sex for money. We're blurring his face to protect his privacy.
It was a lot of crackheads, like a lot of them, like a lot of sketchy homeless people.
A life, he says, he never imagined for himself. One the Harris County Sheriff's Office says he was sucked into October 18th. That's when they say one of the victim's friends, Esmeralda Pena, invited him to the Regency.
He was sucked into it. What Esmeralda do to bring you into this, bro? I feel like that pun was intended. You were sucked into it. All right, let's see what happened.
She said that she had a job for me. Like she was going to help me make some money.
She had a job for
I didn't
you.
have a job.
Once here, he says he was introduced to this woman, Herbanique Forrest. Although when they met, he says she went by a...
Whoa. Okay. All right. Her name is Herbanique Forrest. And this is the young lady that made the thumbnail today. This young lady is apparently who that young man was forced to engage with. And I would suffice to say that someone who looks like this may require putting a gun to someone's head to engage with. I didn't know what she was. I saw an image, and that's how she makes it to the thumbnail, okay? I knew you guys would get a kick out of the image. I thought you guys would appreciate it. Let's bring it center mass here so you can see Herbanique, okay? All right. Now, this is new. Okay? This is a new trend. So if you're looking for money, be careful. There's crackheads running around kidnapping people and selling their penises, okay? I can't say that. They're selling their penises. I mean, I know I'm not supposed to say it, but if I'm not saying it, then I'm not saying the truth. That's what they're doing, and I have to state it. This is the news. Listen to it and be careful out there. All right, so this is Herbanique. Bring it back so you can be introduced to her again.
He says he was introduced to this woman, Herbanique Forrest. Although when they met, he says she went by a different name.
Her name was Cookie.
Cookie, he says, quickly said about signing him up.
She looked like cookie dough. That's what she looked like. She looked like cookie dough. Her name was not Cookie. Her name was Cookie Dough. And you would definitely have to set that on fire for it to be edible for most.
Cookie, he says, quickly said about signing him up for an escort site and told him he'd have to have sex with men for money. The next day, he says he saw an opportunity to escape and returned home. But just 4 hours later, deputies say a doorbell camera shows Pena and Forrest at the victim's front door, this time with an armed man. Investigators say they and Nixon Simmons forced him into a car.
Okay. All right. I've had enough today. I'm turning off the damn internet. That's it. I'm done. I'm turning it off, y'all. I couldn't do this. I wasn't prepared. Let me just say this. If this person shows up at your door with a gun and the other person, the reason why they were mad is because they set up a date with this person and the young guy did not want to do whatever this person wanted to do with his time. So they showed up with pistols demanding his pistol. He is going to service this person regardless of Ring doorbell cameras and police. You have promised to either provide or accept penis. And you are going to do so because this person looks like a man of their word. Okay? So we're all right. We're just going to let it continue. But if this person shows up at your house, I'd be scared too. I'm calling the police and I'm throwing a brick out front. I'll open the door. But you're going to understand. Well, you know what? They had guns. They did have guns. So we're going to have to get the peacemakers. We're going to have to get the problem solver, and we're going to have to solve the problems from outside. The outside the house problems, we'll solve them from inside the house. Okay? All right. Go. All right, let's bring it back. Woo!
Man, Investigators say they and Nixon Simmons forced him into a car at gunpoint.
Cookie started beating me, and she was like, don't I ever leave again. Like, if I ever leave, like, she'll blow my brains out.
For the next 6 days, he says he was beaten, plied with drugs, and deprived of food. At night, he says he was expected to solicit men in this Ross parking lot, although...
At the Ross parking lot? Come on. We're not even going to go high class. No, the Ross parking lot. And this is where we get down. Everybody who knows the area knows if you want to get your salad tossed, go ahead over there by Ross. All right? This is a known hangout for these folks. That's why they kept going every day. It's not, you don't do that randomly. So whatever Ross this is, y'all got a bad reputation for what goes on in your parking lot. Ross dress for less. Ross just, okay. All right.
Drugs and deprived of food. At night, he says he was expected to solicit men in this Ross parking lot, although he says he only ever slept with one.
I knew that if I made them money, they would keep making me work for them. They would keep me around. So I just tried not to sleep with anybody.
He said, I just pooped all over myself so my butthole was dirty so nobody would want me. No, I'm sorry. That's just...
So, he says the experience left him drained, and at one point, hoping Forrest would make good on an earlier threat.
Like a couple days in, I kind of wanted her to kill me. Like I told her to kill me, like just get it over with.
In the end, he says it was his aunt who saved him. October 24th, he says he was able to text her using a phone he'd hidden from his captors, and that she picked him up during one
with the phone. He keistered that phone while he was in one of the people's cars. He keistered the phone, texted his aunt, told her what a shitty time he was having. You know, it is really hard for me to not laugh and goof off when I'm doing some of these stories. It really is. It takes the power of Jesus, Moses, and everybody, okay? The whole Bible power it takes for me to remain calm. Because some of the stuff I be thinking, if I don't see any footage, not of the acts, but like of the people with the guns and all of that came, that was on Ring footage, right? Why didn't you show me that? Maybe it wasn't exactly what they're saying. I don't know, but I didn't know that this was such an issue at Ross parking lots where they were trafficking men for men. Like, I didn't know men were having trouble getting men. I know men have trouble getting women, but I didn't know men were also having trouble getting men. Rough out here.
One of those nights out in the Ross parking lot.
I was just like, yeah, this is not a good place to be at.
And the victim says he wasn't the only one forced to do this. One of the suspects, Esmeralda Pena, also beaten and made to walk the streets, he says. Right now, this case still under active investigation. Live downtown, Luke Jones, ABC 13, Eyewitness News.
New tonight, man.
All right, sorry, guys. That was Houston. And we're gonna freeze frame here because there was a... okay. There was a statement here in the chat that I must repeat. And it is as simple as this. Having extended eyelash weaves on the top and the bottom is absolutely, positively diabolical, okay? It is diabolical, and I am serious. If ladies, I'm telling you right now, if you believe, ladies and gentlemen, because this was a gentleman, so ladies or gentlemen, if you believe that weaving eyelashes to the top and bottom of your eye is something that will make you more attractive, then you know what? You probably should be in jail. You probably should be in jail with this person sharing a cell so y'all can give eyelash and makeup tips together. Because this is ridiculous. This person, to me, probably has what I would consider a mental health issue. Because putting eyelashes on the top and bottom, that's crazy. So you got to be crazy. Forget all this other stuff and what you're trying to do with this young man. You did that to yourself. You need to be Baker acted right now.
That's not a punchline. That's real facts.
It really does sound like South Park news. You're right. Y'all thought it was, I thought it was going to be as simple as they held the kid hostage and he just had to deal with the two ladies that we saw earlier, Cookie and Esmeralda. But no, he was dealing with people like this one and random guys in a Ross parking lot. And the young man sounded young. So I will say this. The young man sounded young. So watch out for your kids, man, because this one got caught up. Not this one. Not the person in it. This is not the kid I'm feeling sorry for. But people's kids are out there getting caught up in some really debaucherous stuff. And I don't really want to know any more of the stories of what that young man went through dealing with anybody that puts eyelashes on the top and the bottom. Like, I can only imagine what kind of weird sexual thing you were going to try to do. All right, enough. I'm moving on. I was not expecting that one. I'm serious. I thought it was going to be something totally different, and it turned into full-blown purge of the bullshit debauchery, which I appreciate because it makes it interesting because you never know what you're going to get on the show. You never know what you're going to get on the show. Imagine a show, right, where you feed information to it based on stories that have come through trending, stories that have gotten the most clicks, and then you mash it all up into something, and then you play lottery pick with it, okay? That's what this show is. So I have no idea what some of this stuff is going to be. When I see the caption come through, I'm like, okay, the man got trafficked for some peen. What's that? What's the worst that could happen? And y'all saw what happened. It took a whole turn off the deep end. I know I'm going to get hit for that story. Jesus. That was a YouTube joint. Okay, well, this next one, I'm going to bring back. This one's interesting, okay? Some of you guys may remember a guy or a young man named DJ. DJ was given an honorary Secret Service officer position by the Trump administration, as he's like a cancer baby, right? And I know that sounds heartless the way I'm saying it, but when I said it before, nobody had a problem. So I'm going to continue to use that reference. He's a cancer baby who's surviving cancer. And I haven't heard from him or really seen him since then. I heard he's got a pretty good social media presence now where he rolls around and takes pictures with people and that kind of stuff. But recently, apparently, him and his dad got into it with some Karen type lady. Or, you know what? I'm not going to say that. I don't know if she's a Karen. Him and his dad got into it with some lady that they got into an apparent or close car accident with. And I want to see the clip. I want to see what they're talking about because somebody said that they was doing too much. And if you're aware of what the phrase doing too much means, it normally means that you have a limit that you should stop at and you're like crossing it. Like you're given a certain amount of grace and you're overdoing it. That's called doing too much. So we're going to see if he's actually doing too much or if the person who is talking the trash is just being a dick nugget. Okay? Volume up. All right, y'all ready? And for those of y'all who are asking if it's too soon to have any jokes about DJ because he's a cancer baby. Well, number one, DJ wants to be treated like the rest of us. So he is not exempt from the smoke show. So if I see DJ doing something goofy in this video, he will also be purged, okay? Not personal, DJ. You live here, you're part of it. It is what it is. DJ's father, who you see in the screen now with the ridiculously large brim, very reminiscent of those in the I'm Gonna Get You Sucker movie. He is also, I'm not giving you a pass either. I gave y'all a pass when we gave you the honorary Secret Service thing. So if y'all are out here acting and doing too much, I'm warning you right now. We're gonna see. I don't know. Could be totally harmless, but I feel like people getting caught up and might be getting big for their britches, and this may have caused the problem. But we don't know yet, so let's go.
I don't care if she don't vote for me. She's got a nasty attitude. You have a nasty one, too. You was leaning on my car for what?
Okay, I said Karen initially. I don't believe that the person speaking from behind the camera is of the same hue as a Karen, okay? That's just an early observation, so I want to retract that statement. I do not believe that this person is Karen, but we're going to find out what she.
Nasty one too. He was waiting on my car for what?
Because you don't know how to drive?
Because I don't know how to drive. You were stopped in the middle of a lane with no signals on.
Okay, so you stopped in the middle of a lane with no signals on. Okay, so what happened? Did you hit him?
With no signals on.
Stereotypical black woman that nobody likes to deal with.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay, you are a Jasmine Crockett type.
Okay.
Look at you. Look at you.
Yeah, he said I'm Jasmine Crockett
You're
type.
Jasmine Crockett type.
Got
All
it.
that nasty masculinity needs to go.
Got it.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Anything you want to say, that's fine. Anything you want to say to the
Anything else?
Go ahead. I don't really care.
Anything else?
Yeah.
This is insane.
She ain't got no extra.
For anybody to be. You don't know me. So how you doing? How you doing?
What's going on?
Now this guy's coming over here.
Why is DJ bothered for?
Why
You know who that is?
I don't give a damn who he is.
You don't know who that is?
I don't give a damn who he is. I didn't ask who he was.
You don't need to be
that
bothered.
That don't mean nothing.
Yo, why are these people coming to DJ's defense? DJ didn't even have no problem. This guy was just his dad talking. And here's DJ. Does he wear the same uniform every day, or did they give him a few different ones? Like once he became this honorary thing and they gave him that little badge, it seems like he's definitely accepted the position, maybe taking it a little serious. But we'll allow it, DJ, because you're a cancer baby and you have survived this long, and I'm sure there's worse things that you could be doing than dressing up like a little miniature police officer. Now, the funny part is, neither one of these people is a police officer, but apparently I believe the dad is running for something, running for some type of office. He does have hella badges, though, don't he? He got 3 across the belt. He got 1 on the arm. He's got 1 on the chest. I guess everywhere he goes, he collects these badges, and he has now created the Frankenstein of police officer uniforms, and he's completing some goal of getting all these badges. And that's fine. But as long as he doesn't get out there and start trying to put handcuffs on people, DJ's cool with me. DJ's cool with me. Now, I'm going to move over to the dad, because that's where I'm going to put my focus. DJ didn't do nothing. And then people came over there trying to defend DJ. Notice nobody tried to defend DJ's dad. Okay? Yeah, he's like 14 now, Jay Coleman. He got the thing right after the election. And there was a whole big to-do about the Democrats not standing up when they gave him the little honorary whatever. Well, as you can see, when you gave him that, now he's out on the street running around messing with people, with his daddy. And to some degree, I approve of the bonding experience that the son and father are having. But I feel like they probably walk around the community and they're probably known as being kind of jerkish. Just like the white kid, don't you know who that is? That's DJ. Why are you messing with DJ? Don't you know who that is? That means in their community, people probably treat them like they actually the police. Yes. This is a very interesting little group. And no, that's not Jamie Foxx. But he does have a interesting resemblance. But here's the thing. I remember that whole situation with DJ, and I don't remember his dad looking like that in the stuff like in Congress. I remember his dad was like, he had like a basketball jersey on or something. Like, you know, very casually dressed, not with no big belt buckles and huge brim hats. So apparently, since his son has become a local celebrity, he done stepped up his steez. And he's now wearing hats and belt buckles and running for local office. So I will say this. It looks like they were just being goofy, because really in a car accident, unless there's a fight going on, you just take some pictures. So they're videoing this lady and the lady's videoing them. And I told y'all how I feel about people just videoing each other. It's the dumbest shit ever. I'm recording you, recording me. Look, how about we both put these phones down on the side? Let's just fight. That way we got something to record. Because if I'm recording you, recording me, ain't nobody doing nothing. We just recording each other. Stupid. So I'm gonna let this play back through one more time, because I was trying to figure out what happened that started this. But then he first comes in and, well, she's not gonna vote for me anyway. Like, how do you know this, sir? And what are you running for? What position that you are not qualified for, that you weren't qualified before your son became an honorary Secret Service officer, are you now running for? Because you were not dressing in big white brim hats and button downs and belt buckles. He was not.
Jasmine Crockett type.
Jasmine Crockett type.
Got
All
it.
that nasty masculinity needs to go.
Got it.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Anything you want to say, that's fine. Anything you want to say to
Anything else?
Go ahead. I don't really care.
Anything else?
Yeah.
This is insane for anybody to be.
You don't
know me.
So how you doing?
How you doing?
What's going on? What are you going?
First of all,
why is DJ bothered for?
Why
you know who that is?
I don't give a damn who he is.
You don't know who that is?
I don't give a damn who he is. I didn't ask who he was.
You don't need to be
that
bothered.
That don't mean nothing
We're not
to
gonna bother
me.
DJ. You need to go.
I'm not going nowhere. I came here
You're
to
being
vote.
asked to leave.
Am I being asked to leave?
Oh, they're voting. This is
Yeah,
voting.
you're being asked to leave right now.
Okay, so no, we'll wait on my dad to get here. I'm not bothering anybody. He came and leaned on my car because he almost hit my car, and I asked him not to do that. He said, actually, I didn't almost hit your car. I was doing something, so-and-so, but he didn't have any hazards on.
All right, well, DJ wasn't driving. So why are you harassing DJ? And you're right. You are right, no reply. You would think with all of them badges, they'd have gave his little ass a nice body cam. He could use that instead of him holding up a pink cell phone. But you know what? The world is not perfect. Okay? So nonetheless, I'm calling bullshit on the dad. I think the dad could have handled it better. He threw the insults at the lady. The lady probably wasn't very nice, but I didn't hear her call him anything. He started saying, you one of them disrespectful Jasmine Crockett types. So you got to bring up politics in a fender bender? Is that what we're doing now? We're in the car and it's politics in the car now? Y'all getting carried away with this shit. Stop. Politics in the car. No, either somebody can drive or they can't. That doesn't have to do with whether they're Democrats or Republicans or something, or like Jasmine Crockett. I don't know if Jasmine Crockett can drive. But I'm just saying that's not like an inference of people that can't drive. You one of them Jasmine Crockett types. What does that even mean? You're a combative, masculine woman. Really? Well, if she's so masculine, why don't y'all put them phones down and just get the guffin? Call it a day. Anyway. All right, we got 2 more to go. I got to get out of here. So this next one, let's get this one going. It's going to be interesting. I don't like the dad anymore. No reply. Because that's what she said. She said the dad leaned on the car. She told him to get off the car, and it started a whole. So it wasn't even an accident. They didn't run into each other. He's starting to smell funny to me. Starting to smell like an asshole to me. But that's what happens. Your son got all cool with the president and stuff, and now you think you can run around with white brim hats on and shit with big belt buckles. I guarantee if y'all go back to the pictures from that event, he is not dressed like that. Like he's dressed like a regular, I'm not going to use the word, but you know what I'm saying. Now all of a sudden he got white brim hats on, talking about somebody's voting for him. What did you run for, sir? What did you even run for? Oh, this one's gonna get nasty. All right, hold on. I gotta screen this one first because it says that an officer got in trouble for getting too hands on, and that either means that he beat somebody up or he SA'd somebody. So let's see what we got. Oh wow. All right. See if this is gonna play it. Okay, guys. Sebastian said, I smell a dick nugget. Yeah. I don't like the dad. The dad, I'm not mad at DJ. He just stood there. He recorded. He didn't say nothing crazy. But the dad had a lot to say and was making inferences and comparing this woman to Jasmine Crockett. Like, you don't even really know that lady. Now, unless she had the one eyelash that's always leaning like Jasmine Crockett does, and that's why you said that, because Jasmine Crockett got this one eyelash that she just cannot get right. She just cannot get it right. And nobody comes to her and gets it right for her. And I'm like, with all of that money and all of those people around you, you can't get that left eyelash just just escapes her every time. But anyway, let's see what we got here. So, all right, guys, this is a little nasty one. This is a little nasty one. It looks like there is a Alabama officer who got fired for messing with what looks like a dispatcher, messing with the dispatcher. So let's take a look at this. Let's talk it out. Then we get to our last story, and then we're going to get out of here. All right, so you guys can see this. This is the officer in blue. The person over here on this side is the dispatcher. Let's see what goes on here. I don't believe there's audio in there. I think we're just going to be looking at him doing stuff. And I don't believe he pulls anything out. So that was the other thing. I don't want to see that either. Walking up. Okay. Going for lunch today. Caressing hair. Oh, he's doing the balls on the shoulder lean. This is testicles on the shoulder. I could feel them through the screen. And I'm not even there. But the way he pressed up on it, I could feel it. I could feel it. So let's see what else we got here. All right, so the other thing I have an issue with is I'm wondering why this young lady hasn't like moved or like, you know, take your legs down off the thing and like kind of back up just a little bit, just to show us a little bit more uncomfortability. I'm not saying that she's going for it. I'm just saying in most cases, like if this was me and this officer decided to put his balls on my shoulder, my response and reaction would be a little. That's just me, even at 19 years old, okay? More likely than not, this would have been a fight video if I was the person sitting in the chair, but that's beside the point. What I'm trying to make is she doesn't move, like to show, oh, wait a second, you're putting your balls on my shoulder. That's normally the moment where you move away. It's kind of cornered, but you know what? Just a little movement. I'm not saying, like I said, I'm not saying that she's with it. I'm just saying the second you get surprised when balls touch your shoulder, it garners movement. Like the second nuts touch you, you're going to at least, whoa, hey, what your boy's doing right there? So let's see what else we got. I think it gets worse, actually. That's the worst part of it. Okay, now she's pushing back. Oh, no, he's humping her. What are you doing? What are you doing? Wait a second. All right, we're going to get flagged for this video, but it has to be discussed. He just started dry humping her. Did y'all see that? Yes, he's armed. He's got a rocket in his pocket and he's trying to sock it, okay? He just dry humped her. I didn't know that was going to happen, but I knew it was going to get worse. So he gets the, okay. Now what? He grabbed a titty? What did he just do? I think he just, now he's got, he grabbed the titty. Now he's got a hand on a thigh over here on the side, if you can see it. Right next to the chair. I don't know if you can see his hand over here, but he's like on her thigh and the chair at the same time. All right, let's see what else we got here. He's definitely freaking touchy-feely. Officer Moose Gruder. You calling somebody? Why is you in their face, though? All right, I've seen enough. I'm bothered enough. Because here's my problem is in every situation, I always add myself and say, like, what would I do? You know, some people say, what would Jesus do? I always say, what would I do? What would I do if I was sitting in that chair and there was an officer especially if it was a male officer, dry humping me on my shoulder. Newly Balanced, thanks for stopping in the chat. You are correct. That is a pickle drag, is what that is. And you know, once you pickle drag a couple times, if you already a little excited, you're going to get more excited. So he was probably putting a full-fledged chubby right on her shoulder. Oh, okay. All right, I'm going to stop. Let's check the story out. Police chief of Cordova has resigned following an internal investigation into alleged SA involving an 18-year-old dispatcher. Chief Jason Hare, who had served just 4 months in the position, stepped down on Monday. Mayor Jeremy Pate said the matter is being handled as an administrative investigation and not a criminal case. That's interesting. Take all reports of employee misconduct seriously, respond promptly and thoroughly, Pate said in a public statement. According to city officials, the allegations stem from department surveillance footage that we just watched, where he appears to touch her hair, lean over her, and one point put his hands around her neck in what looks like a playful gesture. Okay, first of all, you put your hands around my neck, we ain't playing. That's not a playful gesture. There might be one person, that maybe two, that could goof around with me like that. Okay? But I'll tell you who it's not. It's not the police officer at the police station. And I definitely saw him dry hump her. They didn't say anything. But another employee alerted the supervisor after checking on the dispatcher's well-being. So apparently the young woman was too afraid to report the incident because it was her first job and it involved a department top cop. That's sad. That's sad. Imagine sending your 18-year-old daughter to her first job, and this creepy-ass, beer-belly bastard decides he wants to dry hump her and try to, like, play like she giving him some head. Y'all saw what I saw. If you didn't see it, rewind it, but I'm not playing it again because it's disturbing. It's disturbing. And if it had not been for a coworker seeing the video at a later time, it wouldn't even have got reported. So who knows how many other videos they have of this guy being out of line. But the second the video came out, he stepped down and he's no longer the police chief. So hopefully they'll press some criminal charges, but they definitely haven't done so yet. And that's a letdown for the young ladies out there, you know, trying to protect yourselves. We have an obvious harassment here that to me is criminal. And they're not even pressing criminal charges. Then I don't even think they're thinking about it because of his position. So that's interesting. That's very interesting. And that's the funny part is, if you can tell something ain't right when there's no audio, then something definitely ain't right. Like, I don't even have to hear what you're saying. You cannot possibly explain a pickle drag in good enough terms that I'll be like, oh, okay, that's what happened. Okay. No, you obviously are on her shoulder. You obviously dry humping her. You obviously grabbing her hair. Obviously doing all these things. That's why he stepped down. So I hope they do press some charges on him. But based on his position and the society that we live in, I doubt it. All right, we're going to get to this last piece because I don't know what happened. Does anybody know who Ben Shapiro is? And not Josh Shapiro, not the Congress. Josh Shapiro? I don't know. The Shapiro name appears in a lot of things. You got to watch these Shapiros. They're an interesting bunch. They run some shit. Don't get it twisted. They're not all disconnected like you think. It's not by chance that there's a lot of people in popular or entertainment type positions with the name Shapiro, or even in legal positions with the name Shapiro. That is not a coincidence, okay? Not saying that there's some, cult or something. I'm just saying that their family name is about certain things and they stick to it. So apparently Ben Shapiro is Ben Shapiro is upset. Ben Shapiro been upset. Now, for those of y'all that are a little bit newer to the channel, I'm going to bring you back to a time and place where we had an issue, not an issue, but a discussion about Ben Shapiro because he got Candace Owens fired from Daily Wire. And I said then that I thought Ben Shapiro was jealous of Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk, like their relationship, if that makes sense. And he wanted to like break that up because he didn't want them to be as close as they were. It was just my bold, opinion at the time. And I was like, yeah, he doesn't like the fact that they're friends, but she's not really his friend. Like, she knew Ben Shapiro, but they weren't dancing to Kanye songs together and shit like that, right? So I felt like Ben Shapiro was a little jealous of this Candace Owens thing. And to this day, I still feel like Ben Shapiro is jealous of Candace Owens and Charlie Kirk. And it's because they have a thing, an it, that he just don't have. He just doesn't have it. And even though he's popular among many people, he will never have the type of following that would have existed for Charlie Kirk had Charlie Kirk still been alive and continued. And even though he's very popular, he doesn't even have as much of a following as Candace Owens, and he fired her. So I'm sure there's a little bit of that seller's remorse. He got rid of her, and then she did better as an individual, probably made way more money, and that probably pissed him off. So apparently, Ben Shapiro's been crashing out, according to the folks. I'm not a Shapiro guy. I just have an issue with him, and I don't even know what it is. I think it's because he reminds me of somebody that I don't like. And if you remind me of somebody that I don't like, then most likely I don't like you because you're reminding me of someone. Okay. So he crashed out over this dude, Hassan, in the New York Times recently. Everybody's right now, let me tell you what they're trying to do right now. They're trying to pick at Ben Shapiro. They want Ben Shapiro to crash all the way out, start cussing people out, maybe use the N-word a couple times. They are pushing him to just straight up crash out. That's what they want, because then they won't have to worry about him no more. If he crashes all the way out fully, then people won't listen to him. But he has a following. He is popular. People do like him. So if he's still sane in their opinion, they're going to listen to him. But if he crashes all the way out and like just starts saying some crazy shit, people will pull away from him. They're not going to right now, though. So I'm not a big fan of a whole Ben Shapiro, Candace Owens fight. I think they would have been better together. But I knew when Candace Owens was with Ben Shapiro, she started talking all that stuff about Israel, it was not going to go far after that. That's like his peoples. So you're not going to just talk about his peoples. Whether she felt that way or not, whether it was true or not, isn't the point. It was just he was in a power position, and you talk about his peoples. So, nonetheless, let me bring this clip over here for y'all with him apparently crashing out. I don't know what a Ben Shapiro crash out looks like, to be honest. So we're going to find. Volume. Vision. I need a transition. Let's go! Well, who's Hassan? See, this is what I'm saying. I don't know who Hassan is, but this apparently Ben's pissed at him. And everybody's talking about this so-called crash out. So let's look at it. Let's see if it's a real crash out. Let's see if it's anything to be worried about. I don't think it is. Ben Shapiro is not who you worry about. He's the face of something. But there is a group of people that work behind the scenes that you should be worried about that Ben Shapiro can call, if you know what I'm saying.
I think the greatest example of the willingness of the left to create permission structures for violence is the total insanity of what the New York Times did over the weekend. The New York Times is a pile of steaming hot trash.
Uh-oh.
It is a flaming bag of dog shit. The New York Times. What a terrible, terrible publication. The same publication that ousted Barry Weiss for the great crime of having approved an op-ed by Tom Cotton saying that maybe we should use the National Guard against riots, published an op-ed by Hassan Piker, the Twitch gaming streamer, who has not only created permission structures for violence, he has openly called for violence. And they gave that asshole an op-ed in the New York Times titled, "I was supposed to debate Charlie Kirk. Here's what I would have said." And the entire piece is just a permission structure for violence. That's all it is. You can see why they're doing it. It's because of the war in Iraq that desensitizes us to violence. It's because capitalism and its predation, says the millionaire jackass who gallivants around in muscle t-shirts on Twitch.
Okay. I don't even know what Ben's so upset about. So there was an op-ed in the New York Times, or it was a New York Post. Which one was it? Talking about. I don't get it. I don't see why he's so mad. If Hassan has always been who Hassan is, and that's like his personality, you know? Is this because Ben was saying something about how he feels about the Charlie Kirk thing? I'm confused. Give me a second here. Is it Hassan with one S or two? Let's try. All right. But let's find out what we got here. All right, so apparently he is. All right, let's see if we can pull up a Hassan clip here. Give me a second. Is it going to give me an ad? I don't know. Should I play this? Should I play this? Because I don't know this dude. I don't know if I want to put it in there and. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about Ben right now. So let's see. I've never listened to this Hassan guy. I don't know who he is. So before I say something about him, I'm at least listen to some of the stuff he has to say. Sending me an ad. Sons of bitches. Probably a good clip. Yeah, this is probably a.
How far do you want to take the transformation of America?
Okay. So it's not just the transformation of America. I think it's the transformation of global politics in its entirety. I think that capitalism was an evolution away from feudalism and monarchies, and I think it was a fantastic evolution away from that structure. And liberal capitalist democracies, I think, for a very long time presented this wonderful new evolution. But I think it's time for an alternative vision to take place, considering that the tremendous amount of bloodshed that keeps propping up this system continues. And I feel like we have an opportunity to.
All right, I ain't got time for that. He's using too many words to say what the hell he say. All right, well, I don't know if I like him or not. I don't know him, but if Hassan shocked his dog, see, I don't know if I can show that though on the tube of YouTube. You know how YouTube is. That would be considered animal cruelty or something, and they'll hit me for that shit. So let me see if I can find it. As a matter of fact, if that's what he did, I don't need to look at the clip. I know I don't like him if he's just shocking his dog for the sake of shocking his. That's what I'm going to say. But I will say this. I don't know what Ben Shapiro's real issue is, because when he mentioned this guy, he mentioned something he said about Charlie Kirk, not something he mentioned about himself, Ben Shapiro. And I'm wondering why, saying Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk weren't friends. Just saying, it just seemed like he's trying to get on. I'm gonna say it, they're gonna get me in trouble. It didn't seem genuine. Like, it didn't seem like real beef. You know, maybe it's different when the tiny hats get to beef. Maybe they beef different. But like, you know, he was struggling to even put the proper curse words in his dissertation. And all he mentioned was that this guy said that he would debate Charlie Kirk, or was supposed to, and here's what he would have said. And he didn't necessarily agree with that. So what I think, this would be pretty awesome, because Ben Shapiro is good at one thing, talking. So why don't you get this Hassan guy on, debate him out, whatever the hell you feel. You'll get plenty of views on whatever show. Y'all make some money together and then go have some halibut after it, or whatever the hell it is y'all are eating. See what I'm saying? I don't even understand these two guys like talking about each other from different perspectives. I don't think this Hassan is talking about Shapiro the way Shapiro's talking about Hassan, but I think the best way to resolve this is to put the two of them on the stage talking to each other, see if they can hash it out. And if they can't hash it out, you put them in the ring with boxing gloves and we get money that way. Because I'm sure people would pay to see Ben Shapiro and Hassan in a boxing ring with gloves on, even though the fight would probably look like two sissies fighting, but hey, it would still be entertaining and people would still watch it, and these two gentlemen would make a bunch of money off each other. So maybe they should think about making money. I don't get it. I don't get it. But I did look up, I'm trying to look up this the dog shock thing, and the first video I came to, apparently they took it down off the internet. So maybe I shouldn't be trying to play. Maybe I shouldn't be doing it. All right, let me see what we got here. I'm looking at the shot collar thing. That's not the right. That can't be it. All right, I'm not gonna do. That's a waste of time. For right now, no disrespect, of course, Bastion or no reply. I just don't really want to look at the man shocking dogs. But if that's what he did, and it looks like, it looks like he did do something. So I don't like that. I don't like that about him. Anybody that's mean to animals, especially dogs, I don't like you. Okay? Just so you know, I don't like people that don't like dogs. I understand some people are afraid of dogs because they have like some childhood trauma. I get it. But people that are like evil to dogs, trying to hurt them, starving them, that's the folks I'm talking about. You are partially the scum of the earth. And I'm hoping that Cookie and Esmeralda find you and hide you into a Regency hotel and get you in touch with some perfectly good Johns to handle your rectal reconstruction. Okay? All right. All right, let me get my shout outs out because I do have to get out of here. I want to see what he did to this damn dog. I see a bunch of AI of the dog shocking him, so I guess people felt a certain type of way. Sorry. Yeah, there's some AI videos of dog like shocking him that are pretty funny. I love AI. I'm not gonna lie, man. After having the Sora experience beginning back in October, I'm enjoying some of the AI slide. I'm not gonna lie. Some of this shit is pretty funny. Some of the comedy is pretty funny. Some of the images and the ideas are pretty. But it's still not gonna take over human creativity because we do have the ability to be funnier. Okay? So continue to be funny out there. Continue to make content. And if you're a content creator, if you're watching, if you're a content creator and you are looking for a good shorts cutter, make sure you go check out Vizard AI. That's the cutter I use for our shorts here. They got a special going right now. And if you put in Vizard AI /Haze, it is our affiliate links. We do have an affiliation with Vizard. So if you support them, you're supporting us. So if you want to support your content creator, auto-generated captions, quick editing, you load a link into it and it chops up about 20 or 30 clips. If you do an hour-long video or something like that, chops up some viral clips. You can add images, you can add B-roll. Pretty cool program. A bunch of differing subscriptions, depending on how much usage you want to use. But I would say check it out. They do have a free version that you can check out, but it's Vizard, Vizard. And if you go into our channel description, there's a link in. So, nonetheless, let me get my shout outs out and get up out of here. See what I'm saying, Sebastian? Like I said, initially I thought I was going to hate all the AI stuff. Some of it is pretty funny. But some of it is like pointless, just like regular content. Some of it's like, that was stupid. And then some of it's like, oh, I love that joke, or I like the way that they set up that punchline, whatever it is. Like, I invite it. Because to some degree, the creativity, and this is what I'm learning from the wonderful information that was given by No Reply in our Discord, is that to some degree, the creativity is still on the human. The AI is replicating something that you're giving it. Not all automated, if that makes sense. If you leave it automated, that's when it doesn't have that spice to it. But when you add your correct prompts and you add correct information to it, you keep the human creativity element and you keep true comedy. I'm going to say that for anybody that's using AI, I'm not mad at you as long as you're using it right and keeping me entertained and keeping me, I'm cool. But if you start trying to make it seem like somebody's doing some shit they're not doing, that's where we're going to. Okay? But nonetheless, let me give out my shouts out. First, let me give a special shout to all of the veterans. Happy Veterans Day. Yes. Yep. And special shouts, of course, to all our mods out here. No Reply. Jay Coleman was in the building as well. Albon, Sebastian Polega. Who else we got in here? Of course, Purple Groovy was here. And probably is still here. Purple Groovy likes to chill out and just like a sniper. Purple Groovy's a sniper. Who else we got? Actually, wasn't a lot of folks because I skipped a day. They make you pay when you skip a day. Anybody that does content creation, make you pay if you skip a day. Shouts to Newly Balanced for coming in, and shouts to Newly Balanced for the subscribe. And I'm trying to see if there's anybody else in here that I forgot about. Well, if I did, don't, blame my head and not my heart, because, oh, hold on, there was, no, that's the same people. Okay. I'm trying to make sure I don't forget nobody. But I see it's just my folks in here today, and I appreciate y'all stopping by. We will be back on Thursday to do another Purge of the BS. I will cover what's going on right now with the shutdown, because it's still kind of not quite open back up yet, so I didn't want to have that conversation yet until we have the ability to see what they're talking about. We need another day or so for them to do what they do, okay? So, Sebastian, I know you didn't get a notification. YouTube is pissed at me, and they don't like me talking about it. I've been getting in trouble with them. And I'm not even sure why. Before I go, let me just say one more. I did a clip that basically in the clip, I said the phrase that people always think the only way for a black person to be successful is to suck a white man's dick. I said it, okay? But I meant it more in a metaphorical kind of thing, like a, kissing ass kind of thing. Not literally. I mean, to some degree, yes. Literally, I meant it. But what I'm saying is, I didn't mean it like mean. I was just saying that, there's other ways to be successful. And they told me that that shit was rough, that it was a sensitive topic. So I don't know how to make these people happy. YouTube is like a new girlfriend with a tattered past. You don't know how to make this bitch happy. You're trying, but it's just nothing working. Because all the people in the past done dirty to her, so she can't be happy with you. That's how I feel about YouTube. People that mess YouTube up, now YouTube don't want to be happy no more. So, anyway, guys, it has been fun as always, and I do appreciate y'all coming and hanging out with me. It has been quite the day, but as usual, I do have to go. So if you guys don't have nothing better to do with your day than sit in front of a computer, not working, just sitting in front of a computer trying to be entertained all day, then you are part of the problem. And if you're part of the problem, you're not part of the solution. If you're not part of the solution, then you, my friends, would be considered part of the bullshit. We are out of here. Peace. Peace out, Jay Coleman. Thank y'all very much for hanging out with us one more time.